Well, hello everyone, and welcome to High Strangeness in the Liminal Abyss. And I am your show host, SHETAN NOIR. And from what I can tell, everybody has survived the solar eclipse 2024. Um, I know that there were some conspiracy theories. There was some interesting things being posted on Facebook where people were like, I'm ready for the rapture. I'm going to put clothes on the ground and make it look like the person disappeared, or I'm going to put get those blow up dolls and fill them with helium and let them float off. The clothes on the ground would have been funny, but the helium ones, we don't need any more pollution in the atmosphere or getting into like the ecosystems. So I'm glad people didn't really go through with that. But it was interesting seeing how many people thought that there was going to be a apocalypse that came with the eclipse. Now, we've had an eclipse within the last 10 years, a solar eclipse, because I remember sitting outside with my dad's welding helmet on in order to watch it. And it was interesting. And Monday, it was once again interesting, sitting out there with my dad's welding helmet on. I did have a library that gave me the special glasses to watch it with, but I figured why chance anything? So I used the welding helmet again and sat outside. And the eclipse itself was pretty cool. But what was really interesting was how dark the sky got. And the birds went from chirping and um, doing their songs and their calls to at the height of the eclipse, when the sky was the darkest, everything got very quiet and the birds got very, very quiet. And except for the occasional chirp, it took a good 10 minutes before the birds actually started making their sounds again. And even I noticed like the squirrels and the chipmunks disappeared into the woods and were very hesitant to come back out, not knowing if it was day or dusk or what was going on. So definitely interesting how the animals reacted to the eclipse. Um, Hopefully everybody was able to at least get a cool glimpse of what was, going. I know that going through like southern United States up through the Midwest and northern part of the United States, we had it pretty good where we got a pretty good viewing of the totality and the eclipse as it happened. But if you are a fan of, you know, eclipses and anything space related, we have the Eta Aqua Rid meteor showers starting on April 15th. So the same tax day is actually the start of the meteor showers, and it goes to May 4th. So you've got a long time to see them. And it's posted, this is one of the more frequent meteor showers with 10 to 30 meteors um, going through the skies at night. So hopefully, we'll have at least a few nights of clear skies so that we can get out and watch the meteor showers. But hey, if you're, the type to wait to make those wishes, I guess April is the month to do it. And hopefully, We will have some clear nights and be able to actually take advantage of those meteor showers and actually see some meteor showers. Won't that be cool? So it's actually been a very active month for cosmic, activity of having the solar eclipse, having the meteor showers. Um, it's definitely springtime, so interesting things coming about. Um, Hopefully everybody is going to be able to see those and take advantage of those and enjoy those um, uh, activities. And in better news, from what I understand from the weather forecast, they are now predicting that the polar vortexes are done and probably won't experience one. They said that there might be one in the summertime, but hey, who couldn't use a nice polar vortex on 90-degree days in the summertime? Um, I think one of the most interesting experiences that I've had with a polar vortex was many, many years ago. I was actually doing a press tour, going up through Wisconsin and Minnesota, and my final destination was going to be going to my mom's in Ely, Minnesota. But the day that I was actually headed up to her house for a break of the press tour, I was actually in um, Duluth, Minnesota, and I was visiting the aquarium that day and going to visit the downtown area. Now, they had the marathon going, but I planned it so that I could go to the aquarium while the marathon was being run, and then I'd explore the downtown area afterwards. Now, unfortunately, it was raining that day, but we also had a polar vortex. So it was the end of June, going into July. And I did a tour of the museum, got some really great photography done, and then decided I would and walk down to the downtown area, which is not far from where the aquarium is. But it was raining so hard, and I'm watching as people who were doing the marathon are um, they're doing the finish line, and I've got on a nice heavier hoodie, and I'm like, this is really odd for like July in the summertime in Minnesota, but I've got a hoodie on, and then I'm watching people who are running in this marathon as they're crossing the finish line. The race organizers are immediately giving each person who's finishing the finish line those silver emergency blankets, and people are wrapping themselves in them, and they are immediately being chauffeured indoors, um, to different locations. And I'm like, okay, it's 12 o'clock noon in July, and it is 50 degrees outside. And it was getting so cold that you could actually see your breath. So I explored a waterfront museum in downtown Duluth that had a lot of maritime artifacts and different anchors and a tugboat. That was really cool. And then I made my way back to my car. And it was the first time that I could ever remember During the summertime, turning on the heater in my car as I drove the 2 hours north to Ely, Minnesota, and finally getting to the point where I actually took off my wet hoodie and had it on the seat next to me to dry, and I got a flannel out and put the flannel on and cranked my heat all the way up because I was shivering and so cold. And it was just mind boggling that here we are, July, and I have my heat on in the car because there's a polar vortex going on outside. So who knows if we'll have that kind of weather this year. But if we do, I suggest taking a flannel or a hoodie with you wherever you may go. Um, just in case, I've learned now with my travels to always take a hoodie with me no matter where I go. Um, because just because they say that it's supposed to be warm weather does not mean you're going to have warm weather. So I just pack accordingly, and I always take a hoodie with me now everywhere I go. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about today on my podcast was yesterday I finally got the chance to go see the Godzilla and King Kong movie. It was really great. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. I don't like to do that. But I will say that it was a very well done movie. Great monster effects, very realistic looking. I will say that my new favorite monster is one that they call an Arctic Titan, and it's called Shimu. I also like Tiamat. Um, they have a variety of new monsters that are in the movie, but they also have ones from the old Godzilla movies that people might be familiar with, um, as part of the um, list of monsters that we associate with the Godzilla movies. I'm not gonna, give you too many spoilers of which ones in were in there, but we know that he killed King Ghidorah in the last movie of Godzilla and King Kong. So no Ghidorah, even though he was kind of a cool one with all of his, he was like a Hydra with all of his different heads. Um, so I will just leave it to people's, you have to go watch the movie in order to see which one of the monsters are going to be in there. But if you're a Godzilla fan, you won't be disappointed. And I'm curious how many people actually watched the Monarch Legacy of Monster series that was on Apple TV, which was supposed to be a bridge between the new, like when the Godzilla attacked San Francisco, and the monsters that were EMP blasting everything, um, and he killed those. There's this series bridges the gap in between that and the discovery of Skull Island and Kong. So I believe they're going to do a second season where they're already there's a agency already established on Skull Island that's observing the creatures that are there, because that is a um, portal to like Second Earth or Hollow Earth. So if you're into Godzilla and you're into the monsters and really enjoy that series, I recommend watching the current movie that's out. Um, the Godzilla movie that came back or came out in January, uh, which was just a Godzilla movie. That one was phenomenal, and really well done. I think uh, that one is definitely worth watching. And then The Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Definitely check that one out. And that's it for this week. So until next week, go out there and explore this world and stay curious out there. Bye.